What's up guys, Nick here, and today I want to talk with you about how Canon just released a brand new firmware update for 3 cameras, the EOS RP, the 90D, and the M6 Mark II that finally added 24 frames a second. So starting off, this shows they have finally started to listen to their customers, and as a company that is a great thing, so that way when customers buy from you, they know that their needs will be filled because you've listened to what people have requested. So one of the things that made the Canon DSLR really big for YouTube videos was the fact that they could shoot 1080p, 24 frames a second with dual pixel autofocus that looks phenomenal, and the fact they had the touchscreen flip LCD, that's absolutely incredible. I've talked about it in the past. My whole last video was talking about the reasons why I shoot Canon cameras. So 24p is extremely important to anyone that wants to shoot cinematic style videos. It is the most cinematic frame rate. It gives you the closest real to life look, with the right amount of motion blur without looking too choppy. So when these cameras were first released, they didn't have 24 frames a second. They only had 30, and a lot of people were disappointed in that because they were such impressive cameras, especially the 90D and the M6 Mark II. They were the first Canon cameras to have 4K without a crop with dual pixel autofocus, and the fact that it didn't have 24 frames a second really did not appeal to a lot of people because they wanted that cinematic look. So for a while there, none of these cameras seemed like an appealing upgrade to me. I was looking at going to something older like an 80D that still has the better photography capabilities, but it really wouldn't make that much sense because I already have an SL2. But since this firmware, the 90D looks a lot more appealing. It's basically the newer, bigger brother to my SL2. It's better in every way. It has newer hardware, newer sensor, and now that they have this 24 frames a second, it's almost like it's the 4K vlog camera people have been waiting for from Canon. Now granted, it's not the full frame mirrorless camera that everybody wants. I mean, these still are APS-C cameras, but honestly, for people like me and other people who would want an APS-C camera, that's really great. You can buy a 10 to 18 millimeter lens and get a nice wide 16 millimeter shot with 4K 24 frames a second. And what's great about having the smaller sensor is the lenses overall are going to be smaller, so the whole camera package is just going to be a lot lighter. Now as opposed to the EOS RP, that is a full frame camera, and now that does have 4K 24 frames a second, but it's not really that usable. There is a crop, there's no dual pixel autofocus, but that still kind of looked appealing because of the bigger and better sensor. The only problem with that is it's a whole different camera system. I would have to invest in brand new lenses, and they are full frame lenses, so they're gonna be bigger, heavier, and a lot more expensive. But the M6 Mark II in particular is a little bit more appealing than the 90D just because of that size factor. Now the SL2 is not a big camera by any means. It's actually one of the smallest and lightest DSLRs on the market, which makes it absolutely incredible. Great for vlogging, it's all nice and lightweight. Great for just carrying it around because it doesn't take up much space. It's not a huge burden to carry. And the M6 Mark II is basically just a smaller version of it that has a lot more capable sensor and internals. The only problem is that EFM mount, but Sigma's starting to release some prime glass for it. Canon's getting better at it, and you can get an adapter EFM to EF mount, so that way I can use all the lenses I already have. The only problem is with that adapter, it's not really something that I really want to deal with because it's one more thing that could slow me down when I'm out shooting on the field. Because say I do start to invest in EFM primes, then if I want to go from something like my Sigma 18 to 35 1.8, I'll have to put on the adapter. But say if I want to go to a Sigma prime for the camera, then I would have to take off that adapter and put on the native lens. And that's just a whole extra step that would slow me down out in the field. And at the end of the day, it's all about efficiency. A camera is a tool after all, and a tool is supposed to help you get a job done easier and quicker. And if you're constantly fighting with that tool, then it's going to slow you down and it's not going to be as efficient as opposed to something else you can get. And that's really important when you're looking into considering cameras. See what you need, see what could potentially slow you down when you're out shooting on the field, and find something that'll fit your needs. But that's it for me guys. Thank you all for watching. Just a little video for you guys talking about this firmware update, talking about some cameras I might be potentially interested in. But I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you are new. Peace out.